Hello, I'm Stephen and I'm here as astronomy outreach assistant at Nottingham Trent Uni. As work experience from Arnold Hill. Decided to come here as I thought it would be very good to see how astronomy can lead to further opportunities beyond just recreation. Hello. Today we start off by having a health and safety brief and going around the campus. It's rather interesting seeing what there is around. Then later on, got on to looking at some of the solar telescopes that they have here at the NTU Astronomy, and had a look at the sun, which is quite interesting. Upon finishing with the solar telescope equipment, then went back to the office. We had a look at designing a archaeoastronomy page explaining what the hill forts are and sort of looking at what other students have done before that, building on their work. Once that was finished, had a look at some interesting software called Stellarium. What Stellarium does is it maps the night sky in real time. So this is a background of the archaeoastronomical site that we're going to be looking at, that's been done in panoramic from a student before me. What you can do with this, you can change the date, so to when the site was in use. What we can see here, when we look at all the sites, see the constellations have moved. When we start to play, we can also see the central star Polaris is not actually being orbited around. After finishing that, we went down to the observatory control room, where I had a look at some of the equipment which was going to be used tomorrow in the teaching. Today was quite a good day. So got here fair enough time, saying that I had an exam to begin with, and then after getting here, it's a case of setting up the car and then setting off. When we got to the school, it was quite interesting to see how Dr. Brown teaches children of such a young age about these sort of ideas that he was trying to get across. Very useful, using very practical experiments and making sure everyone could see, and also using the globe to show our phase of the moon change, which I thought was very beneficial to them, and also to see how it could be taught. And then upon getting back, looking at the sun again using the solar telescope and seeing how the sunspots observed yesterday changed position, and although it was very cloudy, which impeded solar observations. Today was quite interesting when we set off for the Oxton hill fort. Got here, had a look at the burial mound to begin with, took some 3D photos and also took images of the surroundings in panoramic, which will then be turned into panoramic. But then we went on to the hill fort itself.
day started a bit earlier, which was quite interesting, although not very fun trying to get here, and then getting on with the presentation, finishing it off before having a final field trip down to the Oxton site. So getting final images down, looking at how the images used yesterday were used, and also quite good to have a second view and use what I thought of it yesterday and try and explore more about what I saw. That was quite good. And then we came down to the Brackenhurst campus, where there was the conference, which was quite good to see how different people, PhD students, presented their data, which definitely helped me later on. Today was quite good in terms of finalising all the work, sort of getting everything rounded off. Very good just to see what the data's being used for in terms of the tree size analysis.
So, was this work experience then really what you expected?
Not quite what I expected. What I was expecting was to do more sort of astronomy, as in looking at the stars and whatever. But I didn't really expect to be looking at the landscape and how the landscape and the sun affected how people's lives were. So it's definitely beneficial, if not what I originally thought it would be.